we got to talk about Mexico, because Mexico is in the middle of an insurrection. They're trying to overthrow the government in Mexico. The Gen Z right-wing kids are overrunning the country because it turns out Sheinbaum over here, the prime minister of Mexico, is allegedly owned by all the cartels, and 37 of her political opponents were assassinated. This is actually a little bit terrifying. The president of Mexico has now seen her 37th opponent, after being criticized, coincidentally be assassinated. Coincidence? Probably not. It seems like, allegedly, the democratically elected president of Mexico, it seems like, is not so democratically elected as much as you might think. Now, you're probably like, well, I mean, in America, we, thank God, do not have this issue. We're not, I mean, it's only right-wing people that are getting assassinated. So, I mean, like, let's be real. The left is super happy about this, obviously. It's only right-wing people that get assassinated in America. So, you would probably think that, you know, the left in America would at least not be on the side of the cartel. I already talked about the insurrection. Today, we need to talk a little bit more. The development on the ground, the overthrowing of the government, because it's absolutely diabolical. But it's that the left in America is literally all running defense for the cartels. I never saw this before in my entire life, but that's where we're at. So this is the scenes coming out of Mexico City. This is insane. Like, this is wild. Like, I've never seen anything like this. And again, this is the people that are invading America from Mexico are chanting with giant Mexican flags on our streets, lighting cars on fire with Mexican flags, because Mexico is actually, unlike America, which has fallen to fascism, Mexico is this beacon of freedom. So the leftists decided, if you have to run for Mexico and defend Mexico at every given turn, well, this might come as a shock to you, but that means you have to start defending the cartels. This is not Mexico. This is North Carolina. So this is literally yesterday. In North Carolina, they're flying Mexico flags, talking about how, unlike America, which is fascist, Mexico is actually awesome. That's right. America fascist, Mexico awesome, even though Mexico is literally run by the cartels, allegedly. So this is Mexico City. This started off as a little protest. As you can see, the little protest became a big protest. A very, very big protest. So the gay Mexicans made it to America to protest here. The straight Mexicans are currently protesting against the cartel in Mexico. Now, again, no one expects the Mexican Inquisition. That is the conclusion here. Now, the leftoids decided, you know what? We are gonna take to Twitter. We are gonna defend our brothers and sisters, the cartel members that are running the Mexican government, that are assassinating their political adversaries. It's almost like assassination culture is exactly what the left preaches every single time, right? Because remember, communism is an inherently violent ideology. Communism means you take shit that they earned. They are not going to agree, so you kill them. So anyway, a woman decides to hit us with boobs, I mean logic, as to why she's talking about the cartel.
Oh, we might be saved by like the most unexpected group of people. Do you know who Trump's trying to declare war on? The cartel.
Based?
Oh, please do. Please do. Fuck around and find out, Trump. Oh.
So she's out here making videos talking about how excited she is that the cartel is gonna overpower America. Oh my God. So I'll be real here. I had to watch this a couple times before I even understood what she was trying to say, because I was distracted by her personality. And the fact of the matter is, we know why she decides to broadcast herself this way. Because why would anyone watch her for her opinions? So liberal women, once again, prove themselves the plague in American society. They will literally want Trump to fight the cartel so the cartel could kill Trump. Now, if the Trump fought the cartel, there would be no more cartel. Just to make it clear, America's military is unbelievably unmatched. And no matter how many Narcos cartel movies and TV shows you watch, the cartel has absolutely zero chance against the American military. It's not even remotely close, actually. It's kind of insane. So now she decides to literally run defense for the cartels, talking about how we might be saved because the cartels would kill Trump. But don't worry, there are other white liberal women that decide to come out in defense of the cartels. She is not alone.
For the cartel, we didn't ask for this. We don't want any problems with you, honestly.
So she makes an apology video on behalf of America to the cartels. We love you, cartels, actually. We love you, cartels. Right, so I want to show you this is the entire political spectrum of leftist women. All right, you got whores, all right, and then you get Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us. And there is no one in between. There is no one in between.
Fan of your products in my 20s, okay? I had a lot of fun. But might I suggest...
Keep talking. I'm listening to your suggestion. You tell me what you were thinking.
Breaking the rules, get high on your own supply, and the man you're looking for lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. Maybe pay him a little visit. Messages for the cartel. We didn't ask for
keep
this.
talking.
We don't want any problems with you. Honestly, I was a big fan of your product.
Yeah, you next.
Okay.
What do you say, chat? What do you say? Okay. All right. Bottom right. All right.
The rules. Get high on your own supply, and the man you're looking for.
All right, now you're next.
1600 Pennsylvania
All right.
Avenue in Washington.
I'll go
DC.
here.
Maybe
What do you
pay him
got?
a little visit.
Fuck, I lost, chat. No, I was defeated. Anyway, we found another one, ladies and gentlemen. Another retard has been discovered. Absolutely diabolical. Thank you so much for your TED Talk. We're playing mind games, all right? So here she is saying Trump's address, hey, Cartel, come kill Trump. Again, this is treason. Okay, this is treason. Like the jail. Like literally, what the fuck? Liberals taking sides of the cartels over Trump, telling the cartels to kill him. This is insanity. Insanity. So, alert. This is coming from, this isn't the official U.S. Homeland Security. But this is coming from a Twitter account calling themselves Homeland Security. Alert. Tomorrow will be the largest protest in Mexican history. The Mexican people have had enough of the corruption and the violence that the cartels brought onto a once great country. It's time for President Trump to order massive airstrikes against all the narco-terrorists across Mexico. It's time to make Mexico great again. And Trump has actually been threatening the cartel, so this is getting scary. And the logo that was used, is the One Piece logo. One Piece anime about pirates, about Luffy fighting against corrupt governments. Now you probably think, fighting against governments, that sounds like leftism. Well, if you're a retard, that sounds like leftism. If you actually know literally anything about any form of history, you will actually realize that this is a story about pirates that are fighting against an oppressive communist regime, fighting up against propped up dictators that are overthrowing the rightful kings of various lands. This is a pro-monarchy, pro-capitalism, pro-self-determination series fighting against an infinite, deep state, cartel-like communist regime. One Piece is a right-wing series, despite the fact that retards don't understand that reality. But anyway, so this is what they released. They released this tweet, Mexico great again, with the One Piece thing, because a lot of people in these protests have been waving One Piece flags, which is pretty awesome. Now, introducing Jeff Thu. Jeff Thu is a YouTuber, very popular anime YouTuber. I've met him once. He is very similar in person as to how he is on the internet. In other words, if you voted for Trump, he thinks you're a terrorist and he wants you dead. So anyway, that's where we're at. So he retweets this post about One Piece with this "put it back, thief," literally siding with the cartels, against America. Don't you dare touch my anime. My anime is for my politics, not for your politics. Don't you dare fight. Get your grubby white hands off of my One Piece. How dare you go against the cartels, says he, him, mother's basement. Very cool. Anyway, it gets better. He explains his reasoning here as to why he decided to run defense for the cartels. The context is AstroTurf's protest against the immensely popular Mexican president. If they had to kill 37 of her political opponents, then she's not immensely popular. That's one. Two, if they lie about the polls, that doesn't make her immensely popular. That's two. Three, it's not AstroTurf protests. It's literally Mexican kids. It's literally teenagers and young adults that are protesting because they really hate the radical left cartel rule of the actual country. Okay, that's three. Four, if you think that immensely popular is actually a reason to support the person, well, then Donald Trump is the immensely popular president of the United States of America. He won all 7 swing states, the majority vote, and you must support him, even though you don't. So then he says, clumsy attempts to smear her as a friend of the cartels. 37 of her political opponents were assassinated. 37 of her political opponents were assassinated. All right, like, dog, bro, this isn't one of them died by tripping and there's a conspiracy theory. 37 political opponents were assassinated. And manufacture consent for military strikes in Mexico. Manufacture consent! They are literally flooding our country with poison in an extension of their recent policy of murdering random Venezuelan fishermen. Random Venezuelan fishermen! They are murdering narco-terrorists trying to flood our country with drugs to kill us. Literally, fuck the Venezuelan narco-terrorists. I'm happy they're dead. So anyway, and again, like, because you didn't see evidence that they're fishermen, bro, they were in submarines. They were in submarines. You're gonna tell me that the random narco-terrorist fishermen in submarines, what fish where the fish are, so they went in the water. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Our satellites, which could give you a speeding ticket by looking at your license plate from space, is not noticing that they're deep water fishermen in submarines that they're striking. Like, you have to be special levels of retarded to think that the submarines of cartel members are fishermen. So anyway, this is Leftoid Logic on shrooms. This is who we got. So obviously, leave my cartel alone. How dare you use my anime for your politics? I will instead use this anime for my politics. Mother's Basement recently, 3 weeks ago, released a video, The Politics of One Piece, where he essentially goes ahead and talks about how One Piece is actually a leftist utopia, even though he's retarded, and that's actually not what it's about at all. It's radical leftism, anti-authoritarian, which is true, but the authoritarian in One Piece is a radical left authoritarian. It's almost like some would argue a communist regime that they're fighting against. But anyway, he makes believe that's not the case because, I mean, this is classic leftism. It's you see something and then you acknowledge that it's actually not at all what you're talking about. So he makes this video. Of course, immediately, guess who reacts to it? That's right. It's everyone's favorite terrorist on Twitch themselves. Hassan Piker reacts to The Politics of One Piece. It's not just anime, says Hassan Piker. It's actually a communist utopia. Of course it is. Of course it is, Hassan Piker. You're a terrorist, sir. Please stop supporting people that are murdering other people. That would actually be really nice. Please don't do that. So anyway, this is like the classic move. All right, so you get leftists defending the cartel because Trump is against them. It's every single time. The craziest part is I feel like it keeps happening. All right, so you get Trump is like, I'm releasing the Epstein files. The Democrat judges block the release of the Epstein files. Trump comes into power. He says, I'm not releasing the Epstein files. The Democrats are like, what? We have to release the Epstein files now. Our president might be a pedophile. Trump says, okay, let's release the Epstein files. They release the Epstein files. It exposes all the Democrats. That 89% of Epstein donations went to Democrats. And it's every single time. It's all of them. It's all of the times. It's like, bro, Trump is like, yo, don't take Tylenol when you're pregnant and give your child autism. Women literally overdose on Tylenol. Like, this dude's like, yeah, actually, the cartels are bad. We shouldn't have a government controlled by the cartels that assassinated 37 political opponents. And they're like, only 37? Let's up those numbers. Let's up those numbers. Cartel rule, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's my One Piece anime. This is crazy. So anyway, the cartels are doing something else.
Partners
the cartels are directly putting bounties on our ICE agents that are deporting cartel members.
Disturbing, Sandra. Homeland Security investigations, the FBI, our agency intelligence partners are really all over this. What we're seeing, as you mentioned, is this tiered system, this coordinated and highly organized waging of war against our law enforcement and a terror campaign against them. We're seeing that they're offering $2,000 for intelligence about our ICE law enforcement agents surrounding, including their family, to dox them, $5,000 to kidnap an ICE law enforcement agent, and then even more money to kill them. And we've talked a lot about on this program and on other programs on this network about these ICE apps to locate ICE and CBP agents. And it's not just obstruction of justice that we've been seeing with that. We're also seeing
terrorism.
This. They're now handing intelligence over to these cartels, these criminal rings, to go after our law enforcement, harass them, dox them, kidnap them, and God forbid kill them, Sandra. It's very disturbing.
So yeah, no, it's not as disturbing as the pitch of her voice, but it is pretty disturbing. It's treason. It's actual treason. If you are directly giving information to a foreign military to kill our law enforcement agents, that's treason. And guess who runs defense for these guys? Guess who runs defense for them? It's the leftists, the leftoids on the internet. It's your liberal women who have to open their shirts to get people to watch their political commentary. Right? It's those guys that are out here talking about it. Yo, cartels, maybe you should kill Trump, says radical left retard. All right, yo, cartels, actually, it's really good that you're assassinating the political opponents of this deeply popular Mexican president. Leave my one piece alone. So we have to talk about what's going on in Mexico right now, because it's absolutely insane. The mob actually overthrew the government, and people are really mad at the idea that you can't have this radical leftist hegemony of radical, powerful retards just controlling your governments. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what happened in America under the Biden administration. Not trying to be controversial here or anything, but we don't even know who ran the country under the Biden administration, but we do know it wasn't Biden, but we don't know who it was. Like, get used to it. They're trying to take over here, whoever it is. The globalists, but whatever you want to call it. I don't actually give a shit what title you put on it, but there is absolutely elites and people behind the scenes that are fucking with our countries. In Mexico, they're pretty open about it.
Mexican rioters just stormed their country's capital. As it collapses, in here they come. Whoa! Oh, that's a lot of people. Oh, the police are running. Ooh, oh, this ain't peaceful. Wow, this is crazy.
No, it's mostly peaceful. It's mostly peace. Oh no, never mind. It's a right-wing protest. They're all violent. They're all every single one. Insurrection.
This is like an all-out brawl between police and these rioters. Oh, look, they got riot shields. Oh, that guy just threw something. This is bad. Oh, now the rioters are on the attack again. Okay, they're throwing rocks. That's not right. Oh, and now they're trying to flank these guys. This is happening outside the presidential palace in Mexico. And apparently this is happening over cartel-related control of the country's government. That's what people are very upset about. Look, they are waving their national flags, which is something that you typically don't see at a protest in America. Look, there's the president.
Yeah, ironically, you have the gay Mexicans that are in America that are protesting on the side of Antifa. They're waving Mexican flags while they're not in Mexico. The right-wingers that are protesting in Mexico against their government are also using Mexican flags, but it is actually to get their country back. Notice the difference.
Palace, that's a big building, man. They are trying to get inside, and it looks like is that guy carrying a machete? Ooh, this is wild. And you don't hear any sirens because apparently all the police are here. Like, this is where the action is.
Dude, this is crazy.
This is crazy. These rioters, they just don't stop. Oh, they're coming back in. They are coming back in over there. Wow, it's like the crowd hits on one angle, and then they kind of regroup, and then they go again. Look, they're kind of cornering the police who are throwing back rocks, and now they've been able to make their way over to the
they made it to the palace.
Barriers that were erected to keep them out, and they've got an angle grinder.
Oh my god!
They are not taking no for an answer. They are going to cut through that steel and breach this barrier or climb over it. Look at this. This is crazy.
Helm's Deep will fall.
There's slogans all over this Berlin Wall that the Mexican government has set up to protect itself, I guess. Look, they're shaking it, trying to tear it down. A lot of people in Mexico are very upset about the impact cartels have on their country.
Yeah, it turns out you don't actually want to be run by like an actual narco-terrorist government that is infinitely powerful, because you can never outvote them. You could never vote them away. You know why? Because they'll just kill their political opponents, actually.
Not getting a fair deal if corruption is telling their government how to treat them.
But they have battering rams! This is crazy.
What are they doing now?
Someone in my chat just said the ones that are good at climbing walls are already in the U.S. That's fucking diabolical.
They're trying to pull the wall down. They're throwing things inside of it at the police, which is awful. This is just absolutely out of control. Oh, did that guy just throw something in there? Yeah, they're throwing all kinds of stuff in here. Now, okay.
Oh, and they're throwing tear gas?
Now they're using crowd-controlled gas to try and disperse people. Oh, they got the barrier!
Bro!
The barrier's been breached!
They broke the barrier.
Oh,
tear down the wall.
This is bad. They are going in.
Oh boy.
Are they going in? Yep, he's waving them in. Ooh, that was a pipe that just hit that guy's shield. They are throwing stuff. Okay, now they got crowd control barriers, and they are gonna stuff those barriers in here. Wow.
This is wild.
This is insane. This is just absolutely crazy.
This is a riot against an actual authoritarian government. Not like the gay shit we see in America, where they cry and yell and scream when there's zero authoritarian government in power.
They've got this breach. You can see the police back there with their riot shields. People are filming it, making TikToks. There is so much footage of this out there. It's absolutely insane how many people captured this. which is interesting. It's like people knew this protest was coming. Okay, now I guess this is on the other side of those steel barriers. Yep, and look at this.
Oh my
Now
god!
they're trying this riot police phalanx and actually get
Fall back to the keep!
inside the presidential
We make a phalanx! They've breached the outer wall!
palace. This
Oh
just
my
does
God.
not stop. Those rioters are tenacious. Look, they got bicycle helmets. They are ready to go. Wow. They're jumping at the shields. This is just bad news. This is just bad news.
Yeah, it's
All
crazy.
around this is bad news.
It's horrible. It's a horrible situation. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just an absolutely horrible situation.
Man, because you know what? There's gonna be a crackdown. Something. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh! I heard an explosion.
I mean, let's be real. You think the cartels are just gonna let this happen? Because a bunch of kids are righteously angry? Like, come on, think about it. And that's why there's a lot of propaganda being pushed to Trump to get involved and strike the cartels directly. I'm very against foreign wars, personally. I really try not. I don't want to get involved. I don't think we should be funding foreign wars anywhere. As much as possible. You know, Ukraine, Israel, etc. But this is horrible. This is a horrible situation.
I guess the only question is, who's the crackdown gonna come from? Is it coming from the population of Mexico against their own government?
I mean, again, from my understanding, this is right-wing kids. Oh my god, this dude's wrapping chains around his neck, around his hand. But this is wild.
Chain.
For the record, I'm not against any foreign intervention. I see a lot of that, and I think those people are crazy. I think it is better for us as a country to have Mexico actually run by its own people instead of run by a nefarious cartel that's trying to flood our country with drugs. I do think that it is America first to not want Mexico, our neighbor, to be controlled by narco-terrorists. I personally think that very much falls in line with, you know, taking care of America first. So it is wild.
Okay, now there's more people trying to climb this barrier. Oh!
Bro.
I guess the gas they're using is, you know, perhaps not that big of a deal. It doesn't seem to be deterring the crowd at all. Just like in Portland, Oregon in the United States, where it doesn't deter the crowds and the mobs. This is so crazy. It's insane to think that something like this is happening in a country that has been run the same way for so long. And
Gen Z's waking up. I don't think people realize that the Gen Z is changing the world. The world will not look the same in a generation. All right, the way the world looks now, it will not look the same in one generation. These people don't care. They don't care if you call them racist. They don't care if you call them fascist. They don't care if you call them Nazis. None of the terms or phrases or buzzwords actually work on them. They want their country. This era of how nationalism is actually bad, that era is over. That era is done. Actually, I do love my country, you know, and Gen Z just refuses to be cucked like that.
that's part of this. There are people in Mexico who are emboldened by President Trump's stance.
It's like, you know, you used to say you're on stolen land, and people would say, well, actually, that was my ancestors. It's not my problem. That was what my ancestors did, etc., etc. Now, when someone says you're on stolen land, the response is, no, I'm on conquered land. All right, like that's the difference. No, not stolen, conquered. Actually,
Mexican rioters.
Okay, I don't know why it just skipped to the beginning. I think I clicked back by accident. Well, that's where we're at. It's not, well, my ancestors were bad. No. We're on conquered land, not stolen.
They're doing the same thing. They got the crowd control beer. Oh, that's some smoke coming out of there, man. It was red. It's probably some sort of chemical irritant meant to disperse crowds. It's not working. You can see all the slogans written on this fence. It's like the fence was defaced
It's like, this is the gayest war of all time, but this is a war.
in advance of this insurrection. Okay, that guy's going in, and now he's going out. This guy's throwing stuff. This is so wild, man. You know, it's hard to understand how you have a peaceful resolution in a conflict where both sides think that they are just at war with each other, where the people think they are at war with their government.
They are. Yeah, no. How do you? You can't just like move past your differences and unite. Like, there's some you just can't unite sometimes, and it's brutal.
Okay, now what's going on? They're like pulling another section of the fence to make the breach wider, and maybe that's why. So everyone can kind of rush in at once over here. This is crazy.
President of Mexico is furious.
I'm sure she is.
No!
A traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
This is a
From the
senator.
United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel.
Yeah, that's the rest of the video. I already covered this actually. It turns out. It turns out it's kind of brutal the way the world works. She basically went on and she was like, yeah, actually the government is owned by the cartels, and it's crazy. But now, something I wanted to show you. This is not Mexico. This is North Carolina. This is Mexican riots in North Carolina as we speak. But it turns out the deportations worked. So as you can see, here's a picture of Charlotte. And in Charlotte, as you can see, there's no traffic. There's like virtually no traffic. And Homeland Security says, you're welcome. What do you mean you're welcome? You're welcome to no traffic. What do you have to do with no traffic? Well, this was Charlotte before ICE rolled in. And this is Charlotte after ICE rolled in. It's kind of diabolical if you think about it. But it turns out deporting people might actually make traffic better. Wow. What a shock. Literally no one saw this coming. Homeland Security released one of the craziest tweets ever. Rent is too high. Well, there's tens of millions of illegal criminals in our country. Groceries cost too much. There's tens of millions of illegal criminals in our country. There aren't enough jobs. There are tens of millions of illegal criminals in our country. Women don't feel safe walking down the street. There's tens of millions of illegal criminals in our country. Traffic is terrible. There's tens of millions of criminal illegals in our country. Healthcare is too expensive. There are tens of millions of illegal criminals in the country. Welfare spending is through the roof. There are tens of millions of illegal criminals in the country. I can't afford a car. There's tens of millions of criminal illegals in our country. I can't afford a house. There are tens of millions of criminals in our country. Many problems. A simple answer. This tweet is diabolical. This tweet did not get any community notes, and B, is diabolical. They're trying to say something, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird how that keeps happening. Now, you don't understand. People have been taking this as a template and rolling with it. It blows my mind how it's too hard for people to understand. Rent is too high, probably because of the 20 million people. Groceries cost too much, probably the extra 20 million people. Many problems, one solution. Everyone wants to invite everyone into our great country and wonder why importing to third world has made life in America worse. Pretty weird how that keeps happening. Wow, I am personally shocked and surprised. Now, it turns out, when it comes to deportations, we have, let's just say, a very, very new stance, because the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Trump today.
Now we have a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals even faster. The High Court ruled that Trump can use the Alien Enemies Act to send Venezuelan gangbangers to a mega prison in El Salvador. This is a huge ruling in Trump's favor and a major win for the country after, as you know, D.C. Judge James Boasberg ordered a stop to the deportations. So this is pretty significant. These deportations, Caroline, can keep going.
This is a massive legal victory, Jesse, a massive victory for law and order and for our constitutional republic and the sovereignty of the United States of America. Right. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges like Judge Boasberg, who was completely out of line in trying to say that the president didn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists off of our soil. We have always maintained the position at the White House that the president was well within his constitutional authority to do so. And this decision proves that Trump and our administration have always been right from the beginning. He will continue to utilize the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members, vicious gang members from American communities. And because of this ruling, the United States of America is a much safer place. Our team will get to work tomorrow to deport these heinous, violent foreign terrorists from our neighborhoods.
And you had another couple critical wins in the court with regard to Doge. Tell us about those. That seems to be making progress.
All right, so that's a different topic. But the point is, Trump won in the Supreme Court, 5-4 ruling. We will be using the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to be deporting these people to foreign super prisons. And now here's the crazy thing. The leftoids are living in fake reality where they have come up with an alternate reason. They come up with an alternate reason as to why, in fact, the housing market sucks. Now, it can't have anything to do with the fact that there's tens of millions of illegals in the country. That's retarded. So they came up with a whole new explanation.
Home ownership has become unaffordable in far too many places, ripping away the possibility of home ownership for millions of Americans.
Right. That's horrible.
And we know that home ownership has always been central to the great American dream.
True.
And so it's incredibly important that we deal with the climate crisis.
What?
Because there is only...
Wait, what?
One Earth. There is no planet B. We have no other option.
That's
we have to deal with protecting God's green Earth.
Right.
But we also should deal with the climate crisis because the absence of doing it causes life in America to just continue to become more unaffordable, particularly in this instance as it relates to both the home insurance crisis and the rise in electricity costs and utility bills all across the country because of the administration's assault on the progress that was made related to standing up a clean energy economy Under the leadership of Speaker Pelosi, Senator...
Yeah, so obviously home ownership is unaffordable due to global warming because we have no other planets. This might be the worst take I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, it's definitely not because there's tens of millions of illegal people in the country that are buying up houses and obviously increasing the rate of getting a house. That has no impact at all. No, obviously it's global. He doesn't even like try to tie it together. That's the craziest part. Like normally they're like, well, actually, home ownership it's difficult because of all the global warming, and that makes it colder and warmer outside at weird times, so therefore you need to pay. But you literally have no connection here. It's like it's completely and utterly disconnected from anything. Now, speaking of immigration, the FBI executed another raid at a home in Dearborn, Michigan, everyone's favorite place in America. A Muslim man named Hassan Choker, hilarious, was taken into custody for felony firearms violations and charges for making violent religious threats. The Muslim has a history of threats claiming God's wrath will come down against the non-Muslims, made threats against preschoolers. In 2020, he was charged for anti-Semitic harassment at Bloomfield Hill Synagogue, yelling slurs at preschoolers, lying on a gun backwards, lying on a gun. Background check, while ranting about God's wrath, he was sentenced to 34 months in 2025. And this is the Violent Crimes Task Force arresting someone for being a terrorist in Dearborn, Michigan. Now, Dearborn, Michigan is a Muslim-majority city in the United States. A guy named Hassan, he's probably a white Christian, probably. He's probably a Zionist Hasidic Jew, if I had to guess, Mr. Hassan. Turns out he was out there threatening children. Who would have guessed that there's terrorist threats coming out of Dearborn, Michigan? Now, for the record, Dearborn, Michigan had another terrorist threat that was, thank God, stopped on Halloween. There were a bunch of Islamic extremists that were planning on killing a lot of people on Halloween because Halloween is a pagan holiday on Dearbornistan. So they stopped that, thank God. This is the second attempted terrorist attack that happened coming out of Dearborn, Michigan in the last month. Again, like, not acknowledging that we have a problem with specific immigrants is insane. Now, this is Texas, for the record. A retired sergeant in Texas exposed that Muslims set up a command center with weapons, armored vehicles, and a training facility in a Muslim-only community in Sharia court in Texas. This is breaking news from today.
I retired from the Plano Police Department after 26 years of full-time law enforcement service, and I dealt with representatives of EPIC many times when I was the sergeant for the Plano Police Department, the training sergeant for the Plano PD. There seems to be a general misunderstanding that we're talking about a plan to build an Islamic Sharia-friendly community. The EPIC neighborhood already exists in Plano. It's been there for nearly 12 years, with 74 residential properties, a massive mosque, school.
Yeah, sorry, the audio's ass. I don't know what to do about it. Twitter just sucks sometimes. But anyway, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's almost like this is scary. Now, a recent scam happened in Minnesota. Minnesota's Somali community, which, by the way, I absolutely love Minnesota Somali community. Those guys are awesome. I fully support the Minnesota Somali community. So the Minnesota Somali community has been caught funneling taxpayer dollars to a terrorist group, Al-Shabaab, overseas. This is weird. How did they get all of this money? That's pretty weird. By falsely diagnosing children with autism through Medicaid. So they're having fake autistic children to scam the government and the taxpayers. This is so weird how this keeps happening. I can't put my finger on exactly why this is happening, but they managed to get away with it. Now you're probably wondering, how do they even fool them? How do you fool people to trick them into thinking you have autism? It probably has nothing to do with the fact that the average IQ in Somalia is 69. But that is probably just a coincidence. Look at the insane spike in claims. In 2018, they got $3 million for autism diagnosis. In 2023, they got $399 million. $399 million for autism. Within the same time period, autism centers skyrocketed from 41 to 328, with many of them being Somali communities. Your tax dollars are being stolen and shipped to other people overseas who hate us and want us dead. You should be curious. This is a direct result of careless immigration policies. Wrap up mass deportations and halt all legal immigration, Benny Johnson calls for. This is crazy. This is insane. Now, for those of you that are unaware of Somalian politics, I actually love the no scam here. They're just retarded. True. One thing that you might not understand about Somalian politics is they recently had an election. They recently had an election go on in Minnesota, and it was decided by Somalian politics. You have a civil war among the Somalian clans that had blood feuds with each other in Somalia. They hate each other, and they've divided Minnesota among warring Somalian factions. This Somalian faction hates Ilhan Omar's Somalian faction, and that is why Ilhan Omar's mayor that she was trying to get to win actually lost. The winner was this guy, Jacob Frey, who gave his speech after winning the election, all right, in Somalian. Assalamu alaikum. Having one accent. For the record, this guy is not Somalian, but he managed to unite the Somalian clans in the ancient blood feud to his side to end up defeating the actual Somalian candidate. Because he managed, like, dude, we are settling American elections through Somalian blood feuds. Look at his crowd. These are the people that voted for him. I am Lisan Al-Gaib. I will unite all of the Somalian clans against the other Somalian clans. And this is how elections are being decided in the United States of America. Thank you so much for being here. This was retard on retard violence to the extreme. Leftists fighting on defense of the cartels. Leftists uniting the ancient Somalian blood feuds against each other in Minnesota. Giant retard scams happening in our country, funneling millions of dollars to terrorist organizations abroad. Thank God Charlotte's traffic is a lot better, and it turns out that there are a lot of problems that could be solved through deporting illegals. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. Have yourself the most wonderful day. See you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.